Thank you, Martin, and thanks to you and Frank for inviting me to say a few words at the launch of IDA Ireland's new strategy. I want to acknowledge the presence of representatives from IDA client companies, to those listening, and also those speaking at today's event. And a special hello from me, and thank you to all the IDA staff in Ireland and across the world. Normally, 6 months into this role, I would have met many of you face to face by now, in the office or on trade missions, but unfortunately, that won't be possible for a while yet. This time last year, my predecessor Heather Humphreys was welcoming record FDI jobs figures, noting Ireland's enduring economic strengths, our first-class workforce, and pro-enterprise policy environment. 1 year on, we can see that those economic strengths are really enduring. FDI jobs have increased by nearly 9,000, and despite the serious disruption caused by the pandemic, IDA Ireland's client base has kept operations open and ensured that critical supply chains have been maintained. The strength of our multinational performance means Ireland may be one of the few countries in the world to have recorded economic growth in 2020. This week's Exchequer figures show that income tax was down by only 1% on 2019, and corporation tax increased by 8%. Although the deficit is high, our prudent budgetary policy will enable us to fund payments for those most affected by COVID, such as the Pandemic Unemployment Payment, the Wage Subsidy Scheme, and the COVID Restriction Support Scheme for businesses that are closed. That's not to say that we take FDI for granted in any way. It's not been immune to the pandemic, and sustaining and attracting new investment to Ireland will become tougher in the years ahead. So the new IDA strategy is focused on providing solutions to multinational companies for the challenges they face and in making Ireland an even more attractive country for investment. Specifically, the strategy aims to create 50,000 jobs over the next 4 years, to keep Ireland and Irish employees competitive by supporting 170 investments in research, development and innovation, and 130 investments in training and upskilling, to win 400 investments for regional locations outside of Dublin, to increase the spillover effects from FDI to SMEs, such as helping SMEs transition to digital through knowledge exchanges and collaborative learning, collaborate on North-South initiatives in areas such as education, climate and advanced manufacturing in the context of a shared island, and to help Ireland become a global leader in remote working and a pioneer for better work-life balance and work conditions, to win 60 sustainability investments and support a just transition as well. Regional development will be at the very heart of the IDA's work, and the strategy restates the agency's commitment to continue to win projects with significant social and economic benefits, and to work hard to make sure these benefits are spread widely as possible right across the country. The government will help IDA Ireland to implement the 4-year strategy by providing funding, updating legislation, and integrating its role in wider government policy. Later this quarter, we'll publish a new National Economic Plan for Ireland, setting out how we'll build an inclusive and jobs-led recovery. It will incorporate the IDA strategy and ensure that all activity across government departments is aligned to drive a jobs-led, balanced and inclusive recovery. The pandemic has accelerated some deep structural shifts that were already in motion, particularly the twin transitions of digital and green. And it's also highlighted the vulnerability of some businesses and workers and particular sectors. We want to change all this, and the National Economic Plan will map